I'm worried about Nintendo. Also, I got some new lighting, can you tell? Anyway, I'm worried about Nintendo. And I'm not worried because they've got literally 0 games slated for the rest of this year. We've got multiple instances of Nintendo execs saying that although COVID has clearly screwed with their announcement plans, it hasn't affected the release schedules for games planned this year. Honestly, I think people are freaking out over nothing. Nintendo learned their lesson from the Wii U era that they can't have massive software droughts, and by and large they've been pretty good at getting noticeable releases out relatively regularly. And even first party games aside, there's still plenty of good games coming out on Switch this year. Moreover, the Switch is still selling like hotcakes, and evergreen titles like Mario Kart and Animal Crossing will keep bringing people to the system for plenty of time to come. Plus, Paper Mario shows that Nintendo are quite capable of dropping a game at a moment's notice. So, good? Good. So why then am I worried? Well, Microsoft and Sony are both launching new consoles later this year, and whilst there's the power issue, it's actually the direction that those two powerhouses, Microsoft in particular, are taking the industry that makes me worry about whether Nintendo has the chops or even the desire to head down a similar route. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the channel if you're new around here. I hope you enjoyed this video and consider subscribing when you get to the end. If you're already subscribed, a big welcome back and thank you for your continued support. Seriously, our watch time by subscriber has been creeping up lately, so it's really appreciated. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Last week, Microsoft dropped their Xbox Games Showcase, highlighting a bunch of titles that are in the pipeline for the upcoming Series X. There was a deep dive into the new Halo, a new Fable game was announced, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff that I won't go into here. This is a Nintendo channel, after all. What was most impressive about this, though, was that every game shown in that hour-long presentation, from Halo to Fable, was launching day and date on Xbox Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you Live and xCloud to boot, is now far and away the best deal in gaming. Much has been made though about Halo looking a little ropey due to it being an early build, the fact that a lot of the games shown are likely a few years away yet and thus won't be available via smart delivery, and a few other bits and pieces. Sony's event, on the other hand, pretty much knocked it out of the park, with tons of new games that all looked spectacular and a couple that really showed off the new experiences that will be possible thanks to the new hardware. Off the back of those two videos then, Sony is looking like the early winner so far as next gen is concerned. But I don't think Microsoft are too fussed, nor do I think they really care all that much about winning this next battle of the consoles. They've got their eye on winning the war. Game Pass Ultimate is the key. It's the crystal ball that demonstrates just where Microsoft think the games industry is headed, and that is to an all-in-one subscription model. For a spectacularly low monthly fee, you get access to your online services, a plethora of games including brand spanking new ones, and you'll be able to access those games on whatever device tickles your fancy thanks to cloud gaming. They've basically gone, let's do OnlyFans but with Halo. Now, there's obviously some trepidation about cloud gaming, and I personally think that this kind of setup is at least a few years away from being truly viable. But this is kind of why I think Microsoft are playing 4D chess, whilst everyone else is, well, playing regular chess. And Nintendo are in the corner playing snakes and ladders. Because if this is the direction that the industry is heading in, Microsoft are going to be in prime position to capitalise on it when it reaches critical mass. I've already mentioned that Game Pass is now unarguably the best deal going, and that consumer-first approach is what will make Microsoft's vision for the industry come to fruition. They're not doing what Google did and trying to extol the virtues of cloud gaming with some slightly obtuse benefits. Jumping into a game directly from a trailer on YouTube is a neat trick, but not exactly something that makes Stadia a compelling proposition. What Microsoft have done is made the offer for their Game Pass service, in the industry as it stands now, extremely compelling. That gets people buying in and subscribed because it's such a no-brainer, and once they're on the train, Microsoft could take them down whatever track they like. I genuinely believe that their subscription-based, long-term vision for the industry is incredibly likely, purely because they're getting people to sign up to that vision with the high-value offer of Game Pass Ultimate. So, in case you'd forgotten, this is Nintendo Village, so what does this all have to do with Nintendo? Well, if we are indeed headed towards an industry where stellar online infrastructure is going to be key, then Nintendo really need to buck their ideas up. I and many others have long bemoaned the poor state of Nintendo Switch Online. Playing with friends is still a spectacular chore, voice chat is of course non-existent, and even online play itself can be a nightmare at times thanks to ropey netcode and dodgy connections. The most troubling thing though is that none of this is new. The Wii U's online experience wasn't exactly industry leading either, and the Wii's experience was a bit of a blag too. The GameCube may have had a port for a modem, but it went totally unused, with Nintendo at the time expressing doubt that online gaming would even ever become a thing. All of this gives the impression that Nintendo has never and just still doesn't get online, doesn't understand its appeal, and frankly would be far happier if people just played offline and only communicated via letters and carrier pigeons. They could nail it. They've got plenty of clever people working at that company, and Lord knows they've got enough resources. They could quite easily throw a truck ton of money at Nintendo Live, and we'd all be sat here extolling the virtues of just how buttery smooth and experienced Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Online is. But for some reason, it just seems like they just don't want to. I get that Nintendo haven't competed directly with Sony and Microsoft for several generations now, and avoiding that head-to-head comparison has served them incredibly well. But we're not looking at different powered consoles doing essentially the same thing anymore. We're looking at a fundamental change in the way people consume video games. Nintendo did nail this once before, with the NES and Famicom. They saw the future of gaming wasn't in arcades, but in the home, and created a system that nailed that experience. That showed incredible foresight at the time, but it saddens me to see that that same foresight seems to be lacking now. I could be wrong, of course. The Series X could be a massive flop and Microsoft get out of the game entirely, or the global internet infrastructure may never truly support cloud gaming, and Nintendo could go on making quirky little hardware that sells like gangbusters regardless. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what yours are down in the comments. This is a really interesting topic, I think, and so I'm keen to chat about it with you all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, we've got tons of other cool stuff here on the channel for you to check out, including another rant of mine about cloud gaming and Nintendo's possible future in it. And be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our weekly uploads. Don't forget to check out thenintendovillage.com for more Nintendo news, reviews, features, podcasts, all that cool stuff. Thank you very much again for watching. I shall catch you all next time. Bye bye.